Hey friends, in this video, I'm going to share some really cool drawing tips with you. This is actually a teaching that I pulled from one of my online mentorships. It's a really cool video where I kind of talk about expressions and things like that, things that will help you improve your character drawing skills and honestly, even just your general drawing skills. So I do hope that you enjoy it. Let me know if this blesses you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is something on how to push and exaggerate your gestures and expressions, specifically on stock photos. So right now, these are a couple stock photos that I pulled here. I'm gonna use these as just as a guide, as a reference. Let me turn this off. And I just wanna show you some of the ways that I use stock photography. I might have shared these types of tips with you before, but I just wanna kind of show you how I use this and how I kind of push the expression or the gesture, whatever it is that's going on. So with that said, let me show you real quick. Let's start with this expression here, with this face. So as you can see, this is kind of like where it's at. This is more or less, if you follow the exact photo reference, if you were to just draw right over top of it, this is kind of like what you've got going on here. But what we want to do is we want to push this. We want to exaggerate it. So the way that I'm going to do that, the way that I'll do that is, I might keep the nose the same. So I'm just going to keep this very simple here. Not going to do much there. But then now let's see, 1 second here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm actually trying to push this expression. I want to kind of exaggerate it. Aside from exaggerating the expression, this is a cartoon character. So I want to also exaggerate and push some of the shapes, some of the features, right? So the eye, they don't have to be huge like eyes like this. It depends on the design that you're going for. And then you see this eyebrow, it kind of like it's right here. What I want to do with it is I want to really, again, I really want to exaggerate. So I'm going to push it all the way up like this. And that's a little off. So I'm going to select this. I think I want it kind of like this here. I feel like that's a little bit more accurate. And then let's kind of shape this eyeball a little bit. And then the eye is down here. His eyes are kind of down here. But I want the eyes to kind of be up here. Like that. And we're not going for like a polished final drawing. We're just trying to get like an expression. So again, what I'm trying to show you is how I use photo references. This might be useful for when you're kind of designing a character. Or it might just be useful, before I do that, let me determine where the mouth is going. So you see, let me do this here. You see where the original mouth on this model is down here? I want to push that, so I want it to kind of go up there. And if you notice, I pushed it a little bit closer to the nose, so it's a little bit higher up. And then that's the corner of the mouth. So something like that. And then because this is coming up, because it's coming up this way, that way, it's going to push this cheek up a little bit. So it's going to bump, it's going to kind of do this little thing up here. You see that? And then now that I see what it's doing with the cheeks up here, now I can kind of figure out what the form of the face here is going to be. And then, so that's pretty much it. And then, whatever, this is not a character design type exercise. I'm just kind of showing you how to exaggerate the feature, so I'm not really concerned about what to do with the hair or whatever here, but um, maybe just give him an ear. It's a terrible ear drawing, but you get the gist of it. And then that's pretty much it. So you see how you kind of just push that expression a little bit more. This eyebrow is all the way up here. Then maybe for the other eyebrow is more like this kind of thing. And maybe there is a little bit of a wrinkle. Like that. And then, like I know this is not a character design as I mentioned, but have some fun with the hair. Same kind of thing though. I know I mentioned we're not designing stuff, but it's mostly about the expression. But you see the way I kind of had some fun with that shape instead of trying to do this. Like if you just did this and just followed that, look at how boring this here is, and look how much more fun and life this one has. You see, you know what I mean? Like you want to push those shapes. You want to have some fun with that. So let's bring him back. I don't know. Both of these ears have completely different design, but so don't use that as a good example. That's a terrible example, but as far as that goes. But yeah, there you go. So this is a much more exaggerated expression. And then because this is a character, like I'm not following this anatomy, this realistic. See, like I'm not doing this here. I mean, and you could use that neck, you could if you want. Again, it just depends on the style of character design or character that you're going for. You don't have to go quite as slim as I do here on this neck, but remember that this is a cartoon character. So if you follow too closely to realistic, then it's not gonna feel like a cartoon character. It's gonna feel too realistic. Uh, so there you have it. So that's one thing. You use the reference as a guide more or less, but not to completely copy it. You kind of stretch and pull that, and you can go many different directions. You could change the design of the character. I could have given him different color hair, but I'm just kind of trying to show you how you use that reference as a starting point, and then you design and build off of there. From there, you could start to turn the head a little bit. You can do different expressions, stuff like that. But that's one. Again, I don't want you to focus too much on design, more on the expression. Say for example, this one. This is more less about the character, like the design, like the look of the face, and this is more about the pose, the actual pose. So for example, this guy, one of the things that I don't like is that this leg here is positioned here, and then this other leg is kind of hidden behind them. So this is not a good silhouette for drawing. This is like if you were animating, this could be an in between kind of frame. But if you were doing an illustration, this is not a good way to position it, even though this is what the photo looks like. So without spending too much time on it, let me just do a very brief gesture sketch here. I'll use this leg as as is. That's fine. So there's that leg, um, and then maybe with this leg and this foot, sorry, is where he's kind of. And then let's see. So if he's kind of doing that, and then this leg, again, this is more like you're using it as a starting point. You could spend more time with it. This is not, again, I'm trying to explain, this is not like to do a beautiful final polished drawing, but I'm showing you how to really push. And you know what I think I would even do? I feel like even this kind of pinches too. I think I would really want to push it even more. So instead of that, let's see, this is kind of going up that way. I don't know. Again, I don't know what design I would want to give the feet or whatever, or what kind of shoe he's wearing. I think what would be really cool is, let's see, let me kind of bring this down a little bit. Like that. I didn't want, it was kind of overlapping the skateboard there. You see that? I don't want it to do that, so I'm kind of moving that a little bit. But do you see the way already this is changing dramatically, or pretty substantially, what that original pose is? And then you could use this arm. But I don't like the way it's kind of receding and away from the camera there. I mean, you could, that's more of a preference thing. But I'm going to kind of just have it this way, like that. Maybe it is like in some sort of a fist. It could be a fist. It could be an open hand. And maybe it would make more sense for it to be like an open hand. So something like that. Then the head will be here. Let's see. I think maybe for the head, I want to tilt it up a little bit. I do like the expression, but I'm going to focus less on the, you know what, I'm going to focus less on the expression and more on the pose. And then instead of this arm kind of just going straight like this, I think I want to kind of have it like this. And then he's got his hand. He's got his hand on him there. This leg will be out. And if you design that the same way, again, you'd need like reference to see how to draw this. But you see how this has a lot more energy. And then the little boy, I think, again, trying to give this a little bit more life. So the little boy on the skateboard could be like this here. And I do like that his kind of fist is kind of really gripping that skateboard, because that, I feel like that kind of helps read that they're going really fast. And so he's really holding on. But then instead of his hand, let's see, instead of his back kind of, you see the way it's kind of, his back is kind of curved here. Instead of that, I think what I want to do is I want to have his back, I'm going to have to, I'll have to move it up, but I'll have to move it up to push it up against the arm, against the dad's hand. But I think I want his back to be more straight, a little bit more like stiff. And then the position of the head is fine here. And again, I'm not going to worry too much about like these other little details, like whatever hat he's got on is fine. And then the legs come over this way. Feet are there, tucked underneath. The other foot, let me see what that looks like. You see here, like the other foot is completely lost. In a drawing, I kind of like to still, you cheated a little bit, but I kind of like to still have something, you know? So I would obviously spend time and get it drawn right, but I would still indicate some sort of like the foot on the other side. And then you have the board, wheels, whatever. I'm not going to spend time drawing that. And something like that. Then, because it's not lining up correctly, which is fine too, but for the sake of, I'd have it like I'd push it more up there. And then now there you have like a little bit more to that gesture. So you see that before, after, to add even a little bit more story, like the boy could be kind of, have that kind of, maybe that's too long of an arm, but have some sort of like a charge kind of, maybe he's pointing like onward, that kind of thing. That's a really sharp, like, long arm, but um, just something. But anyways, the point of it being, there's more motion to this, and then it reads so much better. Like if this was a silhouette completely uh shaded in, you would be able to sort of make out what's going on there. So again, just really that gesture. I'm going to do the same thing with this guy here. This is a little bit more subtle because you're like, okay, what if I don't want to exaggerate the pose so much? So let's say with this guy, and again, I'm not going to focus too much on the details, but all right, so let's say this guy. One of the things that I don't really like too much is, so this arm back here on this side is completely missing. So again, legibility is important. And I also don't like that this arm here, is kind of like just glued to the body. Like everything is just connected. I don't like that. So again, even if you're not exaggerating the pose, like you don't have to exaggerate everything like this. Um, just how do you use a reference and then adjust it a little bit to make it work so that it reads well? Well, the way that I would adjust this one is I would maybe reposition the arm a little bit. And so now, and even this feels kind of stiff. What I would do is, let's see, maybe position the arm this way. There you go. Yeah. So I would position it this way. Again, these are just gesture sketches, so bear with me. So you see there, it's not like super exaggerated or anything, but it reads better. Reads more clearly. You know what? I wasn't going to draw the backpack. Let's give him the backpack anyways. Even the shape of the backpack. Like right now, the backpack is just this. That's a very boring shape. So how can we... And again, this comes with like looking at reference or whatever, but maybe it's more like this and then that. Like just something to give it more of an interesting shape. Maybe there's bulging because all the books are kind of down here, So maybe it's doing that. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe he's got like a hat on backwards. That gives it a nice silhouette too. Maybe his shirt is a little bit longer. Doesn't really matter, honestly. As I said before, it's more about the pose. So I keep kind of, I shouldn't be focused on those little things. And then this leg, I don't have an issue with this leg. I like this leg, so we can use that. All right, so let's say this is this leg. Instead of keeping this foot like this here, I think I would actually maybe point it out a little bit more. I think I would probably do more of that. Hopefully that reads. Hopefully you know what I mean by this here. It's a terrible drawing, but I just gesture. So something like that. If you look at the foot here, there, it's just kind of pointing out a little bit more. And then, you know what? I said that I'd give him a longer shirt, but it doesn't really matter. If anything, I think it creates an issue for the jeans. So let's bring the shirt up a little bit more again. And then this leg, instead of it just kind of coming straight down here like this, I'd have it come out. Maybe this doesn't connect all the way there like that. Maybe this kind of comes up this way. There we go. And then this leg comes out. And then like this. And again, this is just gesture. So let's see. Maybe it comes out here. I don't want it to. So here's the thing. I don't want this to connect where this knee is. It's going to create a weird tangent there. So I'm going to bring this up, and then I'm going to have it come in through here. I'm going to fill that in because that's on the other side. So something like that. And then the foot. So like that. And then the skateboard. You see the way the skateboard in the photo is kind of, let me see if I do this. You see the way the skateboard in the photo is kind of like connected to the foot, to this foot here. I don't want to do that. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the skateboard disconnected. And I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do the wheels, whatever, and then the shadow, not a big deal. So you see now, like, this is starting to read a little bit better. The only thing that we need to figure out is this hand, this arm back here. And maybe this arm is just, I'm really not sure what to do with this hand, but, you know, this is something that would feel like it would be more loose. So I'm not sure what to do with this hand, but it would be out like this way. So now it reads. Now, again, if he was a silhouette completely like shaded in, you would be able to make out that this is like some sort of a character on a skateboard. And you could tell this is his hand, this is another arm. So look at that versus this. You see the difference? There's a little bit, so it's not like super exaggerated, but there's a little bit more motion to that. It's a little bit more legible here. There's a little bit more personality to this character as well. So that's another way. And then the last one that I'm going to share with you is, let me see here, this walk right here. And I guess this is the same thing as this one. So I'll do this one super quick. This one's very easy. So again, I'm not going to spend much time on the face or on the character, like design, so to speak. It's more about the walk with this character. And so if you had this character walking again, it's just pushing those shapes a little bit more. So for this character, all I would say is, you know, very subtle, but instead of the way this kind of does this here, instead of that, I would push that a little bit more. So a little bit more stylized, straight down like this. The leg here. Now I know she's going to be wearing a skirt, but I'm just trying to figure out the anatomy. So there. And I think what I would do is, again, this is another exaggeration, but I think I would go like this here. Push it a little bit more. And then here, Same thing, just kind of, so I keep this straight here on this side, and I have my curves on this side. And then here, you'd have to look at reference to see how the foot kind of shapes with the shoe and stuff. But that kind of thing, you know, this is, again, these are stylized characters. And you'd have to look at the reference here for the shoe. And again, I'm just trying to sketch this quick because these videos tend to get really long. This arm, I don't mind this arm so much. This is fine. And even the position of the hand is fine. This one here, I might kind of push it out a little bit more. And then bend it back in. And then out. And then maybe this hand here, maybe, again, this is more for character, but maybe this hand has a little purse or something. So there you have it. So that kind of thing. So see, this is what I just wanted to kind of share with you these little pointers. This is just very quick and easy ways to push these characters a little bit, to use stock photos. But if you see, we've kind of added a little bit more life to it in the gesture. You know what I mean? So that's just a quick little tip. Hopefully this helps you. Again, whether this helps you with your character design or just basic drawing tips, I find it useful. I find it helpful using stock photography. Again, my goal is never to copy the image exactly as is, but just to draw inspiration from it. And a lot of times I end up really pushing and changing the pose in many different directions. So this is just a quick little demo, quick little tips, and I hope that you found that useful. And I will see you on the next one.